Hey there everybody, CJ here, your local friendly technology addict, and this is the Tech Addict's Attic. What I'm working on right now is, I don't know why that's locked. What I'm working on now is a little schematic. I think you'll all appreciate that. That is, if I ever get it built and if I ever figure out the pinouts of my phone so that I can do a decent recording of audio. But while I'm here, I'm sitting here, I'm taking shots of this, and I'm planning on sending them to my father so that, he can see what I'm working on, because, I like sharing stuff with him too. But I decided, you know what? Why not share the photo quality of the Blackview BV9500Pro? And, well, let's just say I am not overly impressed. So we'll start with this one. Zoomed out entirely, it looks okay. It's not until you get really into it that you can see there's a whole lot of grain in this image. I realized that I had my ISO locked at 100. Well, now at ISO 100, there should be no grain in this image. Not like that, anyway. So we zoom in on this one. So I'm still not pleased. But you'll notice here, forgetting about the grain, you can see that there's a pretty good sharp focus. Okay? But you get closer to the outside edges of the image, and that focus just goes all to crap. Right in the middle of the image is great. Over to the outside of the image, it's crap. Now, you might think that it might be the angle at which I'm holding the phone, and frankly, I did have a slight incline. So, up here is actually a little bit farther away than down here, so there is a possibility that the focus is just that tight in such a narrow area. But even looking at this, the focus isn't great, even in the middle of the image. Close-ups? Great, actually. You can see all the dust and dirt and grime in that perf board. The thing's a few years old, so you'll have to forgive that. Far away, you can see there's a little bit of a motion blur in there. Here again, we're looking at focus. Which, funny, on this one, the outside of the image seems to be in better focus than the, well, maybe not so much there. Maybe it does just have a really tight focal range. Now this is good and sharp. At this point I realized my ISO was locked and I'd put it into auto for this photo. Focus is nice and sharp on this one. Close-ups, again, fantastic. I really like that I can get the detail on that transistor. Of course, from farther away, it's a little more difficult. But at least the grain doesn't look as bad, and the focus seems better. Although the color hue was off on this one. Now, some of these I did use flash, and I think that may have affected it somewhat too. So we're not getting too much detail here, and there's an awful lot of grain. But the lighting is horrible in this room for photography. But it occurred to me that this is really about the only way that I can provide any kind of review of the camera. You can see a bit of grain in that white wire going from the 22 microfarad capacitor over here to foreground. Oh, that's a white with blue tracer, my bad. But for the most part, granted, again, the lighting sucks, so we can't really get any detail. That's the same 5210 transistor as the one on the left. Just a slightly different angle on the light. That's all that is. But hey, you know, for documentary purposes, the camera is sufficient. Is it a great camera? No. No, it is not. But it's not the reason I bought the phone. I bought the phone for the radio, and the ruggedness, and the screen. So the camera was only a secondary consideration. I did want the megapixels, but I am disappointed in the camera. It's okay. It'll work. You know, if I'm just taking snapshots outside, full daylight, it does fantastically. There's no problem in full daylight. It's when you get into the lower light. Right now I've got a 13 watt CFL lighting this table from one angle, and then I've got daylight coming in from the living room window from another angle. So, you know, the mixture of light could be the problem here. Like I said, it does okay for documentation. It does okay. It does great out in full daylight outside. It's just not a great indoor camera for general purpose stuff. But it will suffice. Anywho, I hope this is helpful to somebody. And until next time, I'm CJ, and this has been the Tech Addict's Attic.